It was her scorching rendition of the James Bond theme, Goldfinger, that catapulted Shirley Bassey into international stardom. And with album after album, concert after concert, a fiercely loyal following quickly developed. For this woman with, as one critic recently put it, a voice so intense, it seems to make the walls of a theater vibrate with passion. Well, hopefully the walls of Carnegie Hall are sturdy, because that's where Shirley Bassey will be performing this week. First, though, she's here with us this morning. Great pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me so early in the morning.
Well, I used that Goldfinger thing. Do you get sick of it? Because so many people say, oh, yes, the Goldfinger thing.
No, I don't get fed up with it at all, because, I mean, it was Goldfinger that sort of, especially in America, that gave me my first gold record.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It was. I was shocked to hear, because of my own passing days, 25 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yes. I guess when you look at
They've been lying. They've been lying.
Well, when you look at Sean Connery, you can tell, but it doesn't feel like that was 25 years ago, does it?
Is it 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
No, it certainly doesn't feel like 25.
What do you remember about that?
Not a lot. No, actually, I do. John Barry, who wrote all the theme music for the Bond films, we were doing a concert tour of England, and John came to me one day and said, listen, I know you don't like to hear music without lyrics, but would you do me a favor and listen to the Bond theme of Goldfinger, and if you like it, you can record it, you know. So for John, because I adored him, I listened to just the theme music, and I fell in love with Goldfinger without words. And I said, I don't care what the words are, I'll do it. And fortunately, the words were as good as the music.
I was going to say, thank goodness, the words Mersey Dotes and Dozy Dotes, and you'd have been in deep trouble.
Yeah, black sheep, you know.
You don't perform as much as you did once?
No.
Take time off when you want?
I take a lot of time off, yes, to recharge my batteries, A, and B, I'm very lazy.
Really?
Yes, I'm a very lazy person. Once I'm in a project, then I will be up 24 hours a day. But if not, if I don't have to do anything, then I don't.
Because I would think with a voice as big as yours, that it would be necessary to keep it going all the time.
Well, I keep it going in as much that I vocalize nearly every day. That's a chore if I'm not working, too.
It doesn't get rusty if you're not performing?
Oh, yes, it does. I mean, that's why one has to vocalize. Yes, it does get rusty. And not only that, what I find that I have to face when I'm not working, and then, like, say, for 3-4 months at a time, to go back is hell, because the nerves start. Believe it or not, after all these years, I mean,
you nervous?
It doesn't get better. Yes.
You nervous, really?
So is Frank Sinatra. I mean, I've been in the wings with Frank Sinatra.
Really?
And very nervous.
You have to push yourself to go out?
Yeah, sometimes scream at myself. You know, when it
Doesn't
gets
somebody
really...
hear that off stage?
No, I do it. And I really, my own psychiatrist. I take myself off in the corner and I shout and say, listen, you know, if you can't do it, then don't turn up, you know, sort of things like that.
Yeah. It is a very big, booming, passionate, how do you describe your own voice?
Well, the vocal teacher I went to, well, 4 years ago, she said that if I trained earlier on, when I was a kid, I would be an opera singer. And that's how she likens my voice, more towards opera than pop. Pop, I don't know.
Did you ever have a thought of doing that?
Never. I never had a thought of doing what I'm doing. I mean, I was just discovered and just shout. Yes, said, get out there and perform.
That time somebody pushed you out. Since then, you've been pushing yourself out.
And yes, exactly.
But I understand you don't read music.
Not a note. Not a note.
No, you said I went to the voice teacher 4 years ago. That was, you never had it originally.
I never had a voice lesson in my life until 4 years ago, when I had a family problem and I lost my voice. And it was pretty drastic because there was no reason to lose my voice. You know, it was in good shape. There were no nodules on it or anything. And it was a psychological thing because I'd lost somebody very dear to me. And
really
I was taking it out on my vocal cords. I didn't give myself time enough to grieve.
That was the loss of your daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was taking it. My first instinct was, of course, to give up singing, you know, and go and sit underneath my mountain in Switzerland and to punish myself, and, you know. And it was on my way to America I heard about this.
Heard about?
My daughter. And I was changing planes in London, and they told me, and we cancelled the tour. And then eventually I said, this is, you know, you have to go back to work because you're going to destroy yourself. You know. And it's the best thing, it's the best therapy. What it was for a while...
But temporarily you'd actually lost your voice?
I actually lost, I mean, for no reason at all. I just would be singing and then hit a top note, and there was no top note there. And it was frightening, and it didn't happen once, it happened twice. And then I went to a throat specialist. This was in Australia, and he said, there's nothing wrong with your vocal cords. And of course, that was enough to send me around the bend even more. So when I got back to England, I went to my throat specialist, and he said that to make me feel, I don't know if it was to make me feel good, he said, I've seen your vocal cords in worse condition, you know. And then he recommended that I go to a vocal teacher, and he recommended this wonderful lady who's an ex-opera singer.
And slowly you brought
And I went for a year, 3 times a week. And we discovered an extra octave, and it's made my vocal cords much richer.
Just found the extra octave in the closet, did we?
Yes.
Just pulled it out.
Just came out, yeah.
That lost the daughter. Does that give you more passion now when you sing? Do you feel differently when you perform?
Well, with all things that, tragic things that have happened to me, not all deaths, of course, you know, touch wood.
Yeah, knock on wood, right.
But anything that, you know, like my heart was set on doing something and it didn't turn out, for instance. Well, I would turn all that into a creative thing rather, you know, than worry about it, you know, and say, well, why?
Make it work for you.
And make it work for me. And I did the same with the tragedy of my daughter, eventually.
Well, it's a great pleasure to meet you, and it's a great delight that you're going to sing for us this morning. It's a great treat.
Well, I hope it's there. I mean, after all, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've never sung at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I will push you out this morning. You won't have to push yourself. Okay. We're going to take a break, and when we return, Shirley Bassey with a song.